Welcome to the 2018 Annual Safety Class for School Bus Drivers. The purpose of this class is to provide you with information relevant to your mission of providing safe transportation for your riders and to update your certification to continue to be a school bus driver in Indiana. The first video for this year's class will involve an update of the most recent legislation related to school bus transportation in Indiana. This year, one bill was enacted and involves school bus transportation. It is Senate Enrolled Act 303. Additionally, there were two other bills proposed but were not passed. They are House Bill 1165 and House Bill 1377. House Bill 1165 proposed alternatives in the way a school district could fund safety belt purchases for school buses. The bill also added language that provided liability protection for school bus drivers if a student did not wear or use their safety belt properly. This bill was assigned to the House Committee on Education, where it passed 9-0 on January 25, 2018. This bill was then moved to the House Committee on Ways and Means on January 29, 2018, where no further action was taken. House Bill 1377 would have mandated safety belts for all school buses placed into service after June 30, 2019, along with language about seatbelt use and a fund to help with purchases of buses with safety belts. This bill was assigned to the House Committee on Education on January 16, 2018, where no further action was taken. This section of Senate Enrolled Act 303 refers to a change in the alternative way to measure 80% depth perception by setting an equivalent standard of 48 seconds of arc should a driver get their depth perception measured by a machine specializing in depth perception measurements. The next two slides about the Senate Enrolled Act 303 refer to changes in the way in which students that receive services through the McKinney-Vento Act or the Every Student Succeeds Act, commonly referred to as homeless and foster care, can be transported. On this slide, language has been added to enhance what types of vehicles a district can use when providing transportation in an appropriate district-owned vehicle, which can now include a minivan but not a full-size van. On this slide, language was changed to raise the previous capacity restriction of 3 students being transported in an appropriate district-owned vehicle to now raised to 7 students. This bill also raised the capacity for mandated use of a special purpose bus to provide homeless and foster care students from 4 students to 8 students. This bill was signed into law on March 21, 2018 and will take effect on July 1, 2018. Although not part of this bill, the Indiana Department of Education also provided guidance that districts can now contract with third-party vendors to provide this transportation as long as the vendors meet the same vehicle and driver requirements as a school district. The next 3 slides do not address legislative issues but do review a school bus specification change that could potentially affect every school bus driver in Indiana who is now or will be transporting preschool students. Considering the increase in funding from the legislature for preschool programs for the next 2 years, it is highly likely that a majority of districts will be considering adding preschool education programs if it is not already in your district or school. This part of the specification requires that as of January 1, 2018, all preschool students will be required to be secured in their school bus seat using an appropriate child safety restraint system that meet all applicable federal motor vehicle safety standards and is appropriate for each child. An appropriate child safety restraint system could be a rear-facing car seat, a forward-facing car seat, a school bus seat with an integrated child seat, a safety vest, or portable child safety seat like the Star seats from IMMI or the Protect 2 or 3 seats from Bessie. What would not be considered appropriate is a lap belt or a lap shoulder belt alone, even if the lap shoulder belt is being used with a belt positioning booster seat. Should you have questions or are unsure about whether a child safety restraint for a preschool child on your bus is appropriate, please check with your local transportation supervisor. If you are still unsure, please contact the Office of School Transportation at area code 317-232-0890. This part of the specification addresses the problem of double loading for a seat that uses a portable seat mount, generally known as a cam wrap, to attach the school bus seat. When you use any kind of attachment method that wraps around the top of the seat, when there is a crash, the added attachment strap will pull the seat forward, and if you have an unrestrained children in the seat behind it, they will also slide forward to hit the same seat as is being pulled forward. in other words, double loading that seat. That could cause the seat to fail. So you need to have any children sitting behind a seat using that camera belt type of attachment to be restrained, or the seat must be empty. Additionally, if you have children restrained in the second seat using the same attachment system, then the kids in the third seat must be restrained, or that seat must be empty, and this continues on until you no longer have double loading happening. The difference with an appropriate child safety seat is that they are attached to the bottom frame of the seat and are pulling from the floor attachment, so those children in the next seat will not be double loading, since they would not be pushing the top frame of the seat. This completes your legislative update for the 2018 School Bus Driver Annual Safety Class. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact the Office of School Transportation. Thank you for your attention.